Hello, everybody. This is the first lecture in your guys' IM110 checklist. If you're here, just found this video, welcome, but curious, interesting. Uh, what we're going to be doing in this video is getting Unity installed onto your computers because there are right ways and wrong ways to do it, and you might go look up how to install Unity and find yourself in parts of Unity that you didn't expect. And I want to make sure for our IM110 class you have it installed correctly so we can save as much time as possible. Couple things before, since this is the first video you guys are going to be getting from me. Every now and then I'll be looking over here because that's where my notes are for our lectures. And under my desk right now I have two dogs, Val and Rue. Every now and then you're going to see weird cuts when they act absolutely foolish or hear them in the background. Apologies, try and keep them as quiet as possible. First things first, to get our video going though, is we need to go to Google and search up the Unity Hub download. If you Google this, Unity Hub is basically like the portal for getting Unity and managing your versions of Unity. So we'll talk about what that means in just a minute. But what we're going to do is search that, and the first link should be what you're looking for. Start your creative projects and download the Unity Hub. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And I have this download for Windows button. If you're on Mac, you weirdos, it should say either download for Mac or you have this Mac button right here. We're gonna go ahead and do it. And download blocked. Here we go. So what I have right here is where I'm installing the actual like installation program, right? Or where I'm downloading the installation program. This is something I want you guys to get really good at, is knowing where things are on your computer. It's essential for building video games, working in computers just in general. I'm just gonna save this to the desktop. There it is. And then I'm gonna go back over to my desktop. Pull it up over here in just a second. Whoop. And here it is, right? Gonna go ahead and run it. Now, because I already have Unity Hub installed, this might not work correctly, but this should be what you guys see. You'll get a little pop-up from Windows saying, "Hey, are you sure you want to let this thing make changes to your computer?" Yes, you do. And then you'll get this. This is just the terms of service. We're going to go ahead and agree. This is only going to take a couple hundred megabytes, so we're going to install it. Look, I already have it running because I work in Unity every day. Let's closing that. And what I think this is actually going to do is update it for me. So I already have it updated. Next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and click Run Unity Hub. Get this out. And is it going to open? That would be cool if it did. Here we go. It opened on the other screen. Ooh, it looks a little different than it used to. So, we have our Unity Hub. It's looking pretty good, but what you guys are seeing right off the bat, I can't really see it because I am not here, right? So follow steps. We're going to talk first, follow any steps that it's asking you for. Commonly, one of the first things it's going to ask you for is to install, right? What we're going to be doing is looking at the official releases page and taking Unity 6.1.8. Oh, I'm sorry. Wait, these are the installs I currently have on the computer. Completely misread that. We're going to, they changed this editor, the Unity Hub version a little bit. We're going to click Install Editor up here, and we're going to take the Unity 6.0.54 down here. Right now, you'll see that this says recommended and this says LTS. What LTS means is it has long-term support. That means this is constantly being updated. We technically, though it says recommended, we want the most stable version of Unity that we can. So we generally look for the LTS version. Again, that's a long-term support. Back from the future here. Unity puts out different versions all the time, right? They're constantly updating the editor. They're constantly adding new versions. It is very, very important, and I may say this in the video, so I'm sorry if you're hearing this again. But the very, very important that you do not update your version once you select it. We have selected the version for you. So you're about to see me go through and install a version that won't readily be there for you when you go to install Unity like it is on my screen. So what I want you to do is, instead of just seeing 6 point whatever, I want you to go to installs, install editor, archive, click on the download archive. This should open up your browser, and you should be able to go through here and find the version, especially if you go to LTS. This is probably what we're going to have you guys using almost at all times is LTS. You're going to want to go to this LTS page and look at the version that is mentioned if you are in IM110 in your assignment, right? Like, or in the page that tells you, hey, here's the video that got you here. And this is the version that you need to install. Because chances are, and I'll show you real quick, if I go to official releases, I recorded that video a couple days ago, and they've already put out a new version. You want to make sure the version number is exactly the same. So now I'm going to go back to past stack, and hopefully you guys can follow along just fine going after that. Okay. So with this, we're going to go ahead and hit install. So now this is where things get a little tricky, right? There's a lot of options here, and it can get kind of confusing. For IM110, we want to make sure that we're getting Microsoft Visual Studio Community, blah, 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 blah. If I already have this installed, if this has a checkbox or anything like that, you need this, the dev tools. You can install this on its own from its own website. However, that generally causes a lot of problems, and like the two programs don't connect. So please, please, please make sure you get this installed through Unity. Now, Unity is a multi-platform development tool, right? You can make games and apps for Android, iOS, tvOS, Vision OS, Linux. But that's not what we're doing here. If you're on Mac, you are going to want this Mac support. You won't need this dedicated server. You won't need this and if you're on Windows, you're going to want the Windows build support. Again, you don't need this dedicated server stuff. One thing both users will need is web build support. I do want everybody to go ahead and install that. And you'll notice it's going to take almost 14 gigs, right? So please, please, please make sure that you are getting the one you need. If you're building on, if you have a Windows computer, you don't need Mac. If you are on Mac, I would like you to have Mac, Web, and Windows. I'm going to go ahead and hit install and let it get cooking. While that's going, one of the other things we have our Unity Hub installed. We have our Unity version installing. Make sure you are using the same version here, or if your assignment says in big bold letters, do not use the version in the video, go ahead and use the version that's spelled out there. It is very important that like every year we try and keep up to date with the newer versions that are solid. So this video might be a little bit outdated, so make sure you check that. After you get to the you get your version of Unity installing, I want you to go over to settings in Unity Hub. So get your Unity Hub application back up. We're going to go to settings. We're going to go to licenses. Now, this should be blank for you. And actually, I do this out of order every year. What I want you to do is put the licenses away. We need to make sure that you have an account. If you don't have a Unity account, you have to go make one. I would suggest not using your Bradley email if you're from 110. Unity was just installing, so it took me away for just a second. The reason is I was a student in the Bradley department way back when, and the first few years after graduation, it was very frustrating when I no longer was using that email, but all my Unity assets, all my stuff there was still back on my Bradley account, right? So I would suggest if you don't currently have like an email that you use that is professional, go make one that you can use for your Visual Studio account, your Unreal account, your Unity account, all these different things, because you need it, right? Mine, this is the one I've been using for years, and I use it for all these different things. Once you have that, right? Once you have your account, you sign in on Unity Hub, you have everything figured out, I want you to go to settings, go to licenses, and add a free personal license. The way Unity works, it is free up until a point. And that point is when you start making lots and lots of money. They've had a whole lot of stuff go on in the past few years about how they were monetizing the tool, how they were doing these different things. Until you make $1 million, you can have, and don't quote me on that, research that for yourself because I could be forgetting exactly what number they landed on. But I'm pretty sure it's once you make $1 million, then you have to start paying Unity. Unreal Engine does basically the same thing. So you want to get a free personal license and agree. I'm not going to do that because I already have my free personal license. And with all of that, once your Unity version is installed, you should be good to go. We'll talk about getting into making your next project or your first project as soon as that gets done.